Right, well, I'm here with my great friend Evan Acton, here with your wife this week again with Kim. You've travelled down from Malunga Station. Before we talk about horses, a lot of rain you've come through in the north this year, mate.
Yes, Mark. Yeah, we've had a terrific season up there in the north. It's rained nearly every month during the winter. And November, December, we had 10 inches. And January, for the first months of this year, now we're on 5, which is all good for the cattle industry and the rural industry in general up there. And looking forward to a great year for everything, including our horse sports and radios and camp roughs.
Tell me, with cattle prices we've had two very good seasons. Nearly 70% of the horses sold here last year went to the Queensland Northern Territory buyers. Cattle money, cattle prices certainly has a big impact on the horse market, the performance horse industry.
Yes, Mark. Especially central Queensland and up in our area, which they call the northwest and over the border in the territory, there's a lot of big shows during the winter months up there from April, May, June, July, not so much August, and those 3 or 4 months, and they all come down here to Tamworth to buy themselves a good horse to take back there and ride, old or young, and also with the view of coming back here in the following year to compete in all your lovely events here.
And talking about the events, we've added in the graduates, which is September next year again, or this year again. That's only going to add to the value of these horses. $200,000 classic, and they can come back after their classic years for $150,000 graduate.
I think it's a great concept, Mark, and I think it will only encourage more buyers, whether they come off the land or cattle producers or farmers or graziers or people living in town with businesses. A lot of rural people live in the towns up in our area that are very keen on horse sports and recreational horse industry.
Mate, you've been involved at an executive level with the sport for a long time, the Camp Draft Council, the National Camp Draft Council. The sport's grown so much, but the level of competition, the last decade particularly, we've seen a massive increase in the quality of competition.
Yeah, the last 10, maybe even going back to 15 years, but particularly the last 10 years, there's been a big influx of real good horses coming into the Camp Draft circuits and events around. But not only the horses, the young people that have the opportunity to go to schools that are run by some of our top camp drafters, Peter Comiskey, Ben Hall, Will Durkin, Huey Miles, Mark Watworth, just to name a few, but I've missed out plenty. Our own trainer, Luke Bennett. All the young people are looking up to those older people and more experienced people and learning a lot from them.
Mate, we roll the clock back. The Acton family, you'd see a truck full of grey horses, back in the day. We've seen some terrific, introduction of some great imported genetics out of the US. We're seeing that happen for a few generations now. A lot of household names like Conman, Bond Lake Gigolo, Wallabar XL. You look at even Hugh and Smith, Benara Mentor. They're in the twilight of their breeding now, and we need something to cross back to keep that pace and performance in the outside runs in horses. Moonbeam, obviously out of your best mare you've owned, must be an exciting prospect as an up-and-comer.
Yes, Mark. Didn't have a lot of luck in the stallion draft, but he's producing very good competition horses in camp drafting and challenges, and very proud of him. And also his dam had won 28 open drafts, been in the Gold Cup final 4 times, last time when she was 24. Not too many horses and she was grey. And so I bought a horse out of your sale that went back to her breeding in September, and we're looking forward to seeing that mare go on. And only one Omega mare that we've had still riding, 18-year-old, and she's in foal now, but she's only having a year off for family, and then she'll be back into it.
Back on the truck.
Yeah.
So tell me, mate, you've supported us ever since this event started. You've supported us at Paradise Lagoons. You've sold with us at Toowoomba at the Supreme Sale. It must be exciting when you see some of the young talent, not just great horsemen and women, but great quality young people that have gone through Malunga or the Acton properties for their first or second year out of school.
Yes, Mark. It's we've been very fortunate that we know so many good people in New South Wales and Victoria that are keen horse people and keep us supplied with a steady stream of really good young ladies. And they come up and work for Kim and I at Malunga, and Ronnie Wall and Wally McDonald, our overseer, stayed for years, that really mentored those young people. and we're very proud of what they've achieved, those girls. You know, we've had people like Kenny Bolton and Michael Hitchcock that everybody knows them, and they send people up all the way from Victoria to come and work at Malunga.
And mate, the young guns we saw yesterday, the final of round, the second half of round one, 391-point runs. Two of those are Malunga graduates, let's call them.
Yes, Mark. Yeah, we're very proud to have Anna Payton, one of the family Jillaroos, and great young lady to come up from Corryong and ride our horse in the young guns and run a 91. And Austin Elias, a local young fellow, did 12 months there and camp drafted, and a good young fella, and he's coming back to the area, but not to work for us, to work for Will Durkin and gain more experience, I should say, in the horse industry and that.
And the sport, I guess, is also a great draw card when we get away from horses, but look at agriculture, agribusiness. There was a note only in the last couple of weeks, 1,500 Year 12 students in New South Wales sat their HSC and took agriculture as an elective. Based on those numbers, they believe that we need 4 times as many young people coming into agriculture. It's important that these young talented people, we keep them in the industry.
That's right, Mark. We've had people not only like Anna's doing an agricultural degree by external education, and we've had other girls, I can't mention all their names, but have come and worked at Malunga for a year or two and went back to university at Acton and done ag science and gone on to be teachers or work for bigger companies that nowadays they require that tertiary education, and it's really good to get those young people out and see what the real world is before they go back and continue with their education after the 18 or 20-year-olds.
And if you're out there, you're a young person that hasn't got an agricultural background, there are a lot of people out there. Your business relies on those people that may not have started off the land, but are passionate about becoming experienced.
That's exactly right. And it doesn't take long to know if they'll fall into being good cattle people, because I always said good cattlemen and good horsemen, and my father taught that, and he was an amateur jockey and loved racing and that, and loved pony club and spent a lot of time in horses. And he said horsemen are born. You don't make them. If they're born, they want to be it, you can make them better.
And you give them opportunities.
And that's right, and you give them the opportunities and they'll stick with it.
Finally, sales pre-work starts tomorrow. I don't know if Kim wants me to tell us how much you've spent here over the last 16 years, but you might have I think you've got a fair idea.
Yeah, it wouldn't be much short of $1 million. It's about 700 to 800,000. And the first mare we bought here at the sale at the showgrounds was a Omega mare off our great mate Lindsay Knight, and you and Charlie Marr and your team had just started it, and we gave it to Troy Clark, and she was a $30,000 horse, and we bought one off Michael Wilson, the same price that year, and we've been buying them ever since, up to $100,000. And it's a great investment if you buy the right bloodlines, and people that come here over the next few days will be very astute buyers. There's 600 horses out here, and I'm sure tomorrow and Wednesday they'll be sitting here with their catalogues and watching the horses go through and picking out what they think are the best bloodlines and the best performance to come back here and compete in the great events that you have here at ALEC.
Well, I think to wrap that up, on behalf of Nutrien, but I think more than that, the camp draft community, the Acton family, the investment your whole family have made for the sport of camp drafting, the Paradise Lagoons concept, your involvement on the National Camp Draft Council, your support of young people in this industry, not just in the camp drafting sport, but across the board. Like to thank you for your support, and wish you well with the balance of the competition, but certainly with your purchases, hopefully this weekend.
Thanks very much, Mark, and it's a great pleasure to be here, and it's great to be involved in a horse industry like camp drafting and challenge events like Nutrien is putting on here for all the horse industry, recreational horse industry, and the ones that are a bit more professional that are making a business out of it, and we support them all. In your company wants congratulating for the amount of time and investment they are putting into our Australian horse industry. Thank you.
Well, there you go. You've got pre-work will be able to be rewatched. So if you're not here Tuesday and Wednesday before the sales, you can go back and rewatch that. If you're not able to get down here, come and talk to us and we'll organise so you can bid online. But like Evan said, 600 odd horses. There's something there to fit every market and every budget. But if you can't get here for the weekend, make sure you talk to some of the nutrient team and we'd be happy to help.